this is Helen Chow with Interview Right Consulting. Today I'm going to talk about resume, especially for those of you who just graduated. You may be busy applying for jobs, or you may be wondering, how do I improve my resume? What to even put on there? Now, before I begin, let's talk about what a resume is.
A resume is pretty much a mini biography of you. Think about the story you want to tell your future employer. This is how you create your story. What kind of person are you? Are you very hardworking? Are you incredibly organized? Now think about your college career. How have you been super organized and how have you been hardworking? Add some context to it. Did you work while going to school? Did you have internships? How about your major?
Now keep all of that information in the back of your mind, and let's talk about the skeleton of a resume.
When it comes to the skeleton of a resume, there are 5 key areas I want to focus in on. Number 1, personal information. 2, key hard skills. 3, education and degree. 4, experience. And last but not least, extracurricular activities. Now let's dive into each one of them. First one, personal information. Pretty self-explanatory: your name, city you live in, contact information, and professional social media links, all of which should be at the very top. Now, why the city of your residence? Because it is part of who you are. Second, if you are interested in relocating for a job, make sure you state that on a cover letter. And then, and the other piece is we only spend about 12 seconds and less on a resume, so don't make us guess where you live. Professional social media links. Why social media? Number 1, social media help you express who you are professionally. And second, it shows how you present yourself online. And then it also tells the world how many really strong professional connections you have, especially over LinkedIn. If you're more technical, you do need a GitHub account. If you're more creative, you should have a Behance, Fiverr, and or online portfolio. And if you're a marketer, LinkedIn is a really great social media tool for you, as well as Twitter. Now, there's one social media channel you really need to clean up. You guessed it, Facebook. Facebook makes it extremely easy to share your information as well as to hide it. Set it on private would be great. You can also hide your pictures, making sure that it is not going to be shown on a national television. Hard skills, opposite of soft skills, skills that is quantifiable or qualifiable. Hard skills are coding languages, computer technologies that you know, customer relationship management system, email automation systems, analytics platform, Adobe suite of products. Do you know any of them? If you don't, not a problem. But you may think, what if I have really great customer service skills? That is even better. You can really leverage your resume to articulate and create that story by adding a little bit more context. Did you work in a busy retail store? What's the volume of sales like? And what makes you think you're really great at customer service? Tell your story using your... Now, let's go back to hard skills for a second. What if you go online and you realize you don't have the hard skills that employers are looking for? This would be a perfect time for you to start doing some education for yourself and visit the website or internet. First is YouTube, which is free. You can also go on lynda.com, which is paid, or Udemy, which is paid. But the beauty of all of those platforms is you can go after very specific skill sets. Now, what is the big deal about hard skills? Well, by you going out of your way to go after those skills and learn those skills, you're really showing a lot of initiatives. Equally important is curiosity. It also shows that you have strong learning aptitude and you're a great problem solver. Most important of all, you have grit. Be curious, explore, and learn. Curiosity is an incredible attribute many hiring managers are looking for in a winning candidate. Next on the item is education and degree.
Now this part is pretty self-explanatory. You just state the college you went to, if you went to community college, and then a actual 4-year college. State that as well because that does tell a different story to a future employer. Now the only thing I like to touch on here is your GPA. I'm noticing a lot more professionals these days, they are listing their GPA out there, which can be a really great thing if you attended a really great university, one of those Ivy League schools, and you have like an above 3.5 GPA, do share with the world. What happened if you are below 3.5 GPA, but there's a little bit more context to it, meaning, who knows, maybe you're supporting your family, you're working multiple jobs while attending school full-time, or if it's a really hard degree, such as mathematics and computer science, do list those, but I definitely encourage you to use discretion. If you want to come across as a very hardworking person and you're not sure if your GPA is high enough, you don't need to list that. So what I'm trying to say is don't follow this kind of, this weird tradition, or don't just follow any kind of job interview rules because this is what a website recommends you to do. Use your discretion. Don't share certain information for sharing's sake. Think before you actually share certain information.
Next, we have experience.
Let's go back to initially what we talked about, creating a story. For an emergent professional or for a recent grad, it is really easy to feel like, well, I haven't accomplished much, because it is true, you're just beginning your career journey. Of course you haven't accomplished much, but that's okay. That's why you're applying for jobs. Now, how to tackle the experience piece is focus on even just the tactical things.
Next, I'm going to show you how you can add context to your resume. Number one, definitely save the job description, and using that, add context. Did you work at the busiest store in the region? Did you win an award? How many people competed in that award? Were you in a support role? If so, how many people did you support? Did you solve any business problem that leads to a public recognition? And did you go beyond your job description? If so, how? How about metrics? What happened? Promotions? Increased responsibilities? And there's more. Don't forget to include number of hours you worked while going to school. Again, that tells the employer that you can juggle multiple responsibilities. Last but not least, we have extracurricular activities.
Extracurricular activities. Continuing my previous theme of story creation, storytelling, extracurricular activities, as well as your level of involvement in those activities, can really, well, not only will it help you connect with the right people, it also can help highlight who you are as a person, skill sets you've acquired from those activities, as well as how you're able to apply your interest and your college degree in those areas. So you can even highlight transferable skills. For example, if you hope to apply for marketing positions but you were not able to get any internships during the summer, but you've helped a nonprofit create a website or work on their social media campaigns or social media presence, online presence, or maybe you've worked on their email campaigns, or maybe you've written a couple of blog articles for them and it generated some significant results, you should definitely highlight that in the extracurricular section. So for example, in my resume, I put down my involvement with a religious organization, how many hours I was volunteering, and how many people I was leading as sort of like a youth leader while I was in school. And on top of that, I was working 3 jobs, total roughly about 45 hours a week while attending school full-time. That's a really great way of telling a future employer of how responsible you are and the leadership capabilities you have. Or if you have long-term fundraising responsibilities at any kind of organizations you volunteered in. Talk about those things. How many hours did you volunteer in those organizations? How much were you able to generate for those organizations? Well, I hope you find the information here helpful. If you have specific job-related, interview-related questions you want to ask me, please email me at helen@interviewrightconsulting.com. You can also find that information in the show note below. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.